for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break. Join us, take a sip. It's time to wait. Hurry on up, we've got people to shake. Time for cafecito, time for cafecito, time for cafecito break.
Mi gente, it's time for Cafecito Break. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our topic continues as New Yorkers are waking up. Here we are. I'm your host, Rosangel Pérez, one of the Pérez sisters of Cafecito Break, here with Mark for NY. Our other host, Kozi, is going to pop in any moment. He will materialize from the Earthship. Can you hear us? Now I'm going to toss it to Mark so he could introduce himself.
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Lot to talk about on today's show. We got USA in the World Cup, the red card being out-trumped by the Trump card. We got 250th anniversary of America, which also has the Patriot Front that marched in D.C. with some controversy. Mamdani being the communist that he is, or several communist New York topics that we got to talk about. A lot going on, but Kozi joining us in the program. Welcome, Kozi.
What's going on, everybody? Sorry about that. I thought I was offline when I said, "Can you hear me?" Well, can you guys hear me? Yes, we're going to talk about a couple of stuff. But go on, because I just got on. I don't know what you guys said already, so just keep it going.
We're just getting started. Maybe you could get a job with the Verizon as the new "Can you hear me now" guy. It might be hiring. So.
Who
But,
knows? Well, we need to attract sponsors, but yeah, so we are continuing the conversation that New Yorkers are waking up. Why is the awakening on every level like un galletazo, like a smack down? Why does it, and is it always so rough? Because I have to tell you, just observing these latest awakenings from New York City and New Yorkers have me a little baffled, because a question I'm asking myself constantly is, where were you guys
did we just lose
all of a
Cafecito?
sudden?
We lost you for a minute.
Yeah.
Naughty, naughty,
Rewind, go
naughty,
back. So you
naughty.
said, where were you guys? And then we lost you.
I
Then we
must
were
have been
wondering where you are.
hijacked.
It's
I
Mamdani.
must
Technical
have gotten
difficulties.
hijacked to the Mars ship or something.
It's Mamdani and his commies. They're
Bendito, que
very
jodienda.
radical. Very
Technical
radical.
difficulties, social media, shadow banning, all that stuff is normal for the freedom fighters. So just roll along with us. They're trying to silence us in any way they can. Cafecito, you were saying, we're wondering where.
And I have to say, you know, it was wild. Well, I'm going to play a video, and then I'm going to ask Mark if you could check your audio settings, because I promise you guys, we checked our settings right before we hit live, and everything was sounding pretty good. But this is sort of like what happens when you do it live. And this is one of the things that intimidates people from doing live shows, because what do you do when it goes wrong? People like us, we don't care. Let me just take you to this interview with Raul Rivera, who is well known. He's a well-known face in New York City to us, but he's become a New York City recognizable face for outside of New York. And here is my interview. And yes, he does keep a close eye on Mayor Mamdani. Take a listen.
I'm gonna be following you. I hope you're not lying, because we're gonna watch you. I hope you're not lying. Do not lie.
I wouldn't.
I met Zoran Mamdani in 2023, so this is nothing new. He knows exactly who we are, and he was running for mayor, and nobody asked him some serious questions. They kept asking him, "What's your favorite color? What's your favorite baseball team?" And we wanted to know more important things, like who are you? Who do you stand with? That's what we wanted to know. We wanted to know because he identifies as a Muslim. We wanted to know if he would be willing to denounce Hamas, Hezbollah, and Sharia law. In America, we have the U.S. Constitution, and that's going to stand today, tomorrow, forever. And we got people in this country that want to replace our Constitution with Sharia law. And I think if you're running for elected office, you should be asked some serious questions. And that never took place. But in May 10, 2025, I spoke to Mr. Zohran Mamdani face to face. The video's out there. And we asked him, denounce Hamas, Hezbollah, and Sharia law. He said he was going to do it. And I stood there, listened to his speech, which we have, and he did not denounce it. So that's an actual lie. Then we confronted him again on May 18, and his team said, his campaign team said that a statement was put out, which is another lie. We never saw no statement. So it is what it is. We love America. If you're going to come here, you have to assimilate. This is our country, and the way we protect America is called eternal vigilance. We called them a Trojan horse because he refused to answer our questions. And the mainstream media is refusing to ask him serious questions. Nothing's free in America. The people in Cuba are starving. They need help. Nothing's free. Nothing's free. Nothing's lower cost. Somebody's paying for it. It's coming out of somebody's pocket. And when the money dries up, it's going to dry up, and this is going to be nothing but a failure, right? But it might get him reelected. It might get him reelected.
What's your worry for New York City?
My concern for New York City is that people are coming here and they're not assimilating. He's not assimilating. He just became a citizen about 8 years ago, and he's not assimilating. When he says, we came here to remake this state in the image of our people, that is not assimilation. And all these other reporters, they do not ask him that question. Clarify, what do you mean? We came here to remake this state in the image of our people. Remake what? And who are your people? When you speak like that, you will get blowback. And everybody in this country has a valid reason to question that, all right? Islamophobia is a made-up word. We have no phobias. We only fear God. That's a made-up word by the Muslim Brotherhood.
Okay, so I posted it this morning, and I captioned it, "The Constitution will stand today, tomorrow, forever," which is one of the phrases he pretty much said. This is an interview with Puerto Rican patriot Raul Rivera. He has a sense for smelling BS and asks better questions than most mainstream media reporters. Now, I want to say a couple of things because people get bunched up. Just because we cover something here or someone or a topic doesn't mean that we agree with everything and everyone. Just like here between us as hosts, we don't see eye to eye with everything. We're adults having a conversation about New York and the things that matter here that are happening in the United States. We've been directly impacted by bad decisions in leadership. The three of us here on this screen have lost our livelihoods and have had to reinvent ourselves, and we are still in the process of reinventing ourselves and recouping all of the lost years that COVID did and derailed people like us who were on the front lines and however we were serving. I was on the front lines not as a doctor or police officer or a city worker, but as a little person, a business owner with my sister with a tiny brick and mortar, and an entrepreneur with a podcast and a yogi on the side hustling for money. And when all of those avenues get taken away from you because of poor leadership, you know what happens? It creates people like the ones you see on the screen, like Raul, who has also lost a lot for the terrible decisions that have been made here by leadership in New York City. And all of us are so exhausted of hearing the same thing for over 10 years. TDS, Trump is Trump is Trump. There's a debate, Trump. They always figure out how to bring Trump into the conversation. And you know why? Because they know that bringing Trump into any conversation, just like with Mamdani when he was debating, he kept bringing up Trump. Why? Because clout chasing. clickbait, rage bait, clout chasers that absolutely don't love America but want all the advantages, all of the perks, and all of the perks that come with the leadership of the pulpit and the mic, and do this and directing over here and having the audacity to speak at Americans and down at Americans when you don't even know how to really be an American. You're just starting to be an American. That goes for all of you who are brand new. Nothing is more insulting than you just brand new face. You just showed up and you want to tell everybody else how to maneuver when you don't even know how to maneuver yourself, such as Mamdani sitting behind a desk and it was backwards, unless that was intentional. I am off my cafecito break soapbox. I'll pass it on to the gents.
Yeah, so first of all, with that video saying Islamophobia is a made-up word, it's not a made-up word. There is Islamophobia, and during Mamdani's campaign, they intentionally had people who constantly brought up the race and the religion aspect of things, which I think actually helped Mamdani's campaign. It's the minority of people in New York and in this country in general that have racism and Islamophobia. But they want to make it seem like that's the Republicans. That's what the Republicans are going by, and that's apparently I have some mic issues. There was a lot that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if you're still hearing me okay or not. But I'll just pass it on to Kozi, and then
you could keep talking. It's just a little choppy. We can hear you. It's just a little choppy.
Yeah, it's a brand new mic that I thought was going to increase the quality, but apparently that's not the case. So the other thing is, smelling the BS is something that's pretty obvious unless you have no sense of smell when it comes to BS, because Mamdani, that's what he's good at. He's good at smiling. He's good at being misleading and full of crap, like when he brags about his budget thing when he didn't really accomplish anything. A lot of the things that he's done from day one, it sounds good to ignorant people. Like, the rent freezes, which we're going to talk about later, how it sounds like a good thing, but it's going to screw the landlords. Eventually, the goal is to make the city control housing entirely. That's a long-term communist goal. The government owns everything and controls everything. That's what they want to get done, and they'll do it little by little. And the ignorant people who live in this socialist fairy tale land will go along with a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, it's important to ask him the right questions, but even when the right questions are asked, he will go off topic onto a tangent and mention something that sounds relevant to the question, but it really isn't. And that's something that politicians have done for a long time. When they don't know the answer to a question, or they don't want to answer the question, they will deflect and talk about something else. And when it comes to the TDS, literally it doesn't matter what the topic is. I posted the garbage can thing with the Knicks the other day, and somebody's commented Trump is at the bottom of that garbage can. It's like, really? Like how much TDS? This is the Knicks. This is a garbage can. This is New York City. Where does Trump come into the equation with the lady stealing a garbage can? Like, literally, go get help. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Man. I'm tired of these people. But about Raul, I don't agree with some of the things he says, but I'm very happy what he's doing. It's important work that he's doing. He's been very effective, and I'm very proud of him in terms of what he's doing. He's forcing the conversation, he's forcing the attention, and he's doing it in a masterful way. So shout out to Raul for that. Again, I'm saying it because, like Rosangel said, there's idiots in this community. There's idiots all around, outside the community, around the community, that think that we should only talk to the perfectly, like everybody's got to be perfectly aligned. It's not like that at all. That's not reality. New York is made of diverse people with diverse thoughts, diverse beliefs, and we're going to talk and associate and work with people, right, as we see fit. Okay, you don't have to align. I don't, you know, I'm very different than most people, right? I'm not. You can't put me in a box. Okay, same thing with a lot of us. Okay, so that being said, he's doing a great job, and we need 1,000 more Rauls. Okay, step up, people. This is a takeover. This is a freaking communist takeover, and I don't care what people say. I'm not using the specific. I don't care. I know what I'm talking about. This is a communist takeover. It's being funded from the top. This is not a grassroots movement. I've been saying this since the beginning, since the first time I saw that
Test
little.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What's going on here, Mark? You're cutting me off with your tests. I hear you.
Yo, I had it muted. I had the audio muted, and I thought I was on the side testing my mic, but
this is a real show. This is why. Listen, people.
Apparently, it unmuted me.
This is a real show. This is things like this happen because we're not puppets here. We do things on the fly. There's no people putting makeup on our faces. We're raw, okay? Raw to the fact that look at those curtains back there. It's just raw. Okay, listen.
I do the show from the truck most of the time. I go and buy a better quality microphone that's supposed to be professional, and apparently my sounds worse, but I'm trying it now.
I can hear you. I can hear you well now, but I think the sound was maybe just the internet connection, not your mic.
I switched over to...
All right. We don't care about the explanations. Let's get back on the show. What were we talking about? Islamophobia? Yeah, it does exist. You know, most people don't have it though. Okay, there's some idiots. I hear them. I hear. There's people that even I see and hear. I see it. I hear the stupid comments. Let's not focus on, you know, the religion. Let's focus on the policies. I don't give a shit what religion you are. Okay, you can believe in a freaking fairy godmother. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Okay, what I care about is, do you respect the Constitution? Are you going to protect our, you know, are you here to stand by it? Or are you here, like Raul said, to destroy it?
It does matter. It does matter to a certain extent, because he asked him, do you denounce Sharia law and Hamas?
Listen, I'm saying personally, I don't give a shit. What I care about is, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is, will you respect the Constitution? Will you be a public servant that respects it, or are you going to be a commie? He's a commie. He's talking about right. He's telling you to put your AC on 78 degrees. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? And go back where you came from. We don't want people like this here. We don't want people telling us what to do. This is not American. It's un-American to tell people to set your AC to 78 degrees. Okay?
I couldn't even believe that. But yes, I could. Yes, I could. You know, since you brought it up, let's watch that clip.
Listen to this. While the mayor encouraged residents to keep air conditions set at 78 degrees, he may not be following his own advice. The New York Post took a thermometer into City Hall and found that nearly every area of the building was cooler than the mayor's 78-degree mandate. Interesting, and we will get to that in just a moment. Con Air was the headline, as you saw there in the New York Post. Emily, apparently there was an internal processing error with regard to NYPD pay. That's the explanation. But if anyone should get paid, it's the NYPD, who has the hardest job in the world under a radical mayor and DA.
I also do not buy the statement that was issued by Mamdani's office after that, saying, you know, we're so sorry, we prioritize them. They said no one works harder than that.
Unbelievable. Rules for me, not for thee. I mean, the rules for thee, not for me. I mean, said it backwards.
Well, I understand the suggestion, because they don't want an entire blackout, so you do have to conserve energy, but it's you know, it's hypocritical when you see things like that with City Hall. And 78 is a little, you know, it's a little, you know, it's still going to be warm, and it's the summertime, and yeah, it's I think it's a little ridiculous, but it's not really a mandate, it's a suggestion. So it's not like he's going to send people to your home and inspect and see.
Well, this is where it leads to, right? So what I think is happening here is he's saying it, right? He's not forcing you. Of course, you have a choice to listen or not. But what's going to happen is when he says these things, his radical supporters who will lick his feet and lick his toes and lick his you know what, they'll do anything he says. They look at him as a master, okay? And these radicals, this is a message for the radicals. He knows we're not going to do that, but his radical, faithful people will do it, and they're militant about it. And what this starts doing, because it's a very dangerous thing he's doing, because not this particular, but when he speaks, his radicals listen. And he's creating radicals by the day, by the second, and these radicals will, it's just like putting that in their brain. And these are going to be the future leaders. These are going to be the future people getting in our faces, trying to tell us how to live our lives. That's what he's doing. He's creating radicals. Now, we need to stop this immediately. Okay? People need to step up and start speaking. People are afraid to speak. People want to not be seen. They want to just work behind, in the shadows and go about their life. But this shit is not going away. It's going to get much worse if people don't get involved. And when I mean get involved, do whatever you can. People think the voting doesn't count. It might not. But guess what? If 7% of the population is coming up to vote in the primaries, guess who's showing up? It's the radicals. And I don't think it doesn't. I think voting does matter. I think that why would they spend so much energy and money trying to convince you to vote if it wasn't so? Unless it's all theater, which I don't think it's all 100% theater on that end. I think it does matter. And even if I'm wrong, even if we're wrong, what does it hurt to just do it? Just do it.
This is what I would like to point out. Just what's been happening, right? Governor Hochul, since she's been in power, through all of the efforts of the leadership in New York City, how many times has New Yorkers' electric bill gone up? They've done things. They closed my devices. There's something happening. There's weirdness happening. My devices are like blinking weirdly next to me. So backtracking. Why do I have a trepidation when I hear Mamdani make a suggestion of 78 degrees? And I hear what Mark is saying. It's not a mandate. And let's say even if it was a mandate, we already learned from COVID, mandates are not laws. They're just really strong suggestions, right? Anyway, when we are in newer buildings that have thermostats that can be controlled, then it doesn't matter if you are living in one of those settings and there's then becomes a mandate that this is what it's going to be. You think you're going to override that thermostat?
Well, they already did it. They literally they sent out a message saying that they're going to reduce the energy. I think it was like by 80% or 60%, whatever they did, the output. They already did it. They don't have to ask you, and you're paying for the same thing, right? You're paying for the same energy, but they're just reducing the power. So
Thank you for also highlighting that, because a lot of us have noticed that the power that we once had is not the same, and that the more buildings, like, the area that I live is constantly building. The other day along an avenue, all sorts of businesses were having power issues because of the new construction happening. So then everybody gets affected. We have spotty internet, and now we're seeing spotty electricity. So I do not see this problem going away if we keep ushering in and following socialist lefty climate justice mandates. That's sort of just where I'm at with that.
Yeah, originally I heard it was commercial buildings and things of that nature, but I mean, regardless, it's still, a ridiculous 78 degrees is not comfortable for most people. And even if you're a business owner and you have to adjust it to 78 degrees and customers are coming into your store and it's hot in there, they're not going to want to stay. They're going to want to leave. Like, it's just, it's, it's ridiculous. I understand the reasoning behind it. And Kozi, I think that it can be something that's mandated in the future because, like you said, with the radicals, if there is a blackout within the next month and it's all the unselfish people that didn't listen to their leader telling them that they need to lower it to 78 degrees, and now we Now we don't have any power, and then next thing you know, it's going to be a law or something where people are going to get fined. So it's just, I mean, I foresee all the things that the communists are trying to do, and it's something that is long term, and the little things that they do are steps towards a big picture of complete communism. So it's just, it's sad to watch it unfold, and it's sad to watch the gullible people fall for it when communism has failed so many times, time and time again. They have their playbook, they're using it, they're recycling old playbooks, and they still work, unfortunately.
Thank you, Frank, for tuning in. He's saying that he's listening to, he's watching the game, USA game, and listening to us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing the same. I'm hosting the show and I'm watching the game. Belgium unfortunately scored very early, and USA is down 1-0. There was the controversy. Speaking of TDS, Trump called the FIFA president to ask to look into the red card that was issued on one of the star players on the USA, and that was overturned. And people are saying that Trump kind of did it. And whether it was really the Trump phone call or not, the guy's playing, and it's still going to be a tough matchup. It could go either way. I mean, the U.S. is obviously behind right now. Even if they win this, they'd be facing Spain next, which is probably, probably the buck stops there. If they manage to get past Belgium, I don't see them getting past Spain.
Was it a bad call?
I mean, it probably. I'm trying to find the exact video because I don't remember the play, but I try to find the exact video. But if you search on the internet, everything you can find is Trump doing this, and it's showing pictures of how he hit his leg and the guy hurt his ankle, and he obviously left the game. I remember when we were down 10-11 for the remainder of the game and still pulled off a victory, but. I mean, I'm not 100% positive, to be honest with you, because I'd have to watch the replay in multiple angles to really form an
It's unbelievable how serious people take games. It's just a freaking game, people. Donald Trump didn't have to call. It's like, whatever, man. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, but
Don't piss off the soccer fans.
A red card is supposed to result in an ejection followed by a one-game suspension, including in the World Cup. And now when it happens in the World Cup, it's a pretty big deal. So it's,
tied 1-1.
Yeah.
Let's go, USA. Let's go.
USA.
It must be on a delay. It must be happening on this free kick right now that I'm watching.
Thanks for the update, Frank. Appreciate it.
There you go. Apparently he's got
Now
30
we
seconds
know.
ahead of me.
Now we know that Mark, who is a expert at calling and hosting sports show, is delayed.
I'm delayed 30 seconds from Frank. Frank gets to see it 30 seconds before I do. I saw the free kick going into the goal, so that's good news for the USA. Tied it up, but I mean, a lot of fans are excited. USA has never won a World Cup. They've never even made a World Cup final. They still got a ways to go. They have a very tough road. Like I said, Spain next, and then most likely France after that. So it's going to be, they have a really tough battle. I think it's going to be France against Argentina in the finals. And France would be the favorite, but I think Argentina is going to pull it off with Messi, who is still on fire, even in his old age. Ronaldo lost today, Portugal against Spain. That's his last World Cup game. He's one of the greatest soccer players of all time. So a lot of people were upset about that, including iShowSpeed, who's the popular YouTuber who was crying in a corner because Ronaldo got eliminated. I'm like, how do you videotape yourself crying like a little bitch about a team losing? Like really? Like if the Knicks lost or something, I wouldn't cry if the Knicks lost. But even if I did, I'm not gonna videotape myself crying
in fetal position.
like a little bitch. Like, what are you
My
doing?
favorite are the crying videos that are like different angles, like And why would you do that? Or there's different cameras going at the same time.
Frank said the nieces and nephews were crying when Brazil lost. I understand, like, soccer is very. Oh, now.
Look,
we're
I
down
understand
2 to
the
1
tears.
No, no.
I understand the tears. I've cried over baseball, but I don't understand
The videotaping.
recording yourself in multiple angles crying. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. Now, if you're recording yourself and you're telling a story and in the middle of it you get emotional, that's another thing. But when you're like setting up the shots, I'm gonna curl myself right here and
Yeah.
cry.
It's like, what are you doing? Like, especially if you're a dude. Girls do that all the time. They want to cry for attention and stuff like that. But if you're a dude, somebody else was filming him because both his hands were, whatever. But it's still, come on.
All right, so what's up with this video? You gonna play it?
Well, before I play this video, which is our favorite mayor behind the desk or in front of the desk, he should have been behind. It's weird. But I wanted to ask you, how are you seeing the vibe of the soccer fans who are just here in the United States, enjoying the United States and our customs in different places? I like to see, I'm answering my own question, I like to see the excitement on the streets. The other day I was getting a pizza and it was, and some of the guys came in and one of the guys was like, if Mexico wins tonight, I'm getting all of you guys tacos from my favorite spot. And everybody was just so excited. And I'm like, wow, those are just wholesome moments that, I love to witness.
Yeah, I was at I went to a place over here, a couple of blocks up. It's a really good place that has amazing empanadas, and it was full of Ecuadorians and Mexican, more Ecuadorians than Mexican. But I saw the game there, and it was fun. They unfortunately the Ecuadorians lost, and they got really sad. But it was a fun event. People felt like people were happy. People were very. Just everybody was in a great mood, We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's they love their ranch dressing apparently over here. If you heard about that, the tourists don't have ranch dressing over in Europe. They're taking it back with them in their luggage and stuff. And but yeah, I posted on Instagram the other day a video about how the World Cup coming to the U.S. has done more for global relations than the United Nations. Probably not after this Trump red card thing, because apparently everyone's rooting against the USA in today's game as a result of that. But yeah, you had the people in Norway and Times Square rowing over there and stuff, and you got you take the good with the bad. There's the Mexicans outside of the hotel where England was playing that were shooting off fireworks and noise to, they didn't know which hotel exactly because they booked 18 hotels to try to get throw people off of the scent, but they just wanted to make sure the players stayed awake all night, which is done internationally. It's nothing new, so it's not like Mexico's the only people that have done that. So yeah, you take the good with the bad. Overall, it's good. I put the saying in the caption that if you want to hate this country, watch the news. If you want to love this country, drive through it. And that's something that I do. Seen this country in every state, seen every tourist attraction you could think of. So I have a different output on the country. And unfortunately, a lot of people, especially in urban areas, they never seen the country before. They have their assumptions of what they saw in movies and TV, how all these people in the South are racist, when in reality it's Southern hospitality for the most part. I had a truck driver who was, when I first started years ago, he was one of my trainers, and he moved to Texas from California, San Bernardino, and he said, "Oh, I expected when I moved to Texas, what are you doing out here, boy?" And it was nothing like that for him, and he realized that a lot of that racist nonsense that you think of with Texas or anywhere down south is all bullshit. They're of course racist people, like we said with the Islamophobia and everything. There are racist people, but they are the minority, and it's not this epidemic that the media tries to make it seem, where people are crying about racism constantly.
Speaking of that, we gotta
I was
pull up
going
the
to
video.
I was going to transition into that, but yeah, put up the video,
Go
I
for
guess.
it. Do you
No,
know
I
what
mean
video we're referring to?
we had the 250th celebration. Of course, you had the Patriot Front, which is kind of somewhat like Proud Boys, I guess, is what they're making them out to be. Went and marched, and you had this video and picture of the one black girl who's sitting there on the bus or whatever, and it's all these other guys there. But the thing is, all those guys did not even bother her. She just felt uncomfortable being the only person there that wasn't part of that crew. But nobody bothered her. Nobody tried to hurt her. Nobody
And not to
said anything
mention,
to
and not
her.
to mention, those people are probably FBI fake intelligence, because nobody does that. Nobody dresses like that. Okay, it's all a fraud. But the
Yeah,
point
I
is,
mean-
yeah, play the video.
Well, that was the picture, and I was over the weekend, like, just seeing this explode on the internet, being covered in different ways, and folks were melting down. Some of them were calling this woman that was surrounded brave for, withstanding and having to face all of these white supremacists. Hold on, let me take this.
Do you have the view video? The view video?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I just wanted
Yeah, go
to
for it.
show
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but I do have it. To me, of course, we weren't there, but I'm like, honestly, like, which would you rather? I would trade places with that black woman any day and be in a room full of these quote unquote white supremacists, white nationalist patriot front that they look like they're Fed or agents. Everybody thinks it's a psyop, at least on our side. But other people think that this is just, look at these white supremacists showing their hateful ways. But you want to know, listen, okay, let's just say that these are white supremacists who have the audacity to march on the 4th of July and show everyone their racism. I will be around them in the train than on any New York City subway ride where I feel like I'm fearing for my life. Those are my words.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that it is something staged to bring out this, the racist narrative yet again for the 1 millionth time this month alone. It's just, but even, the Proud Boys were real, and if this is something like that where they're organizing or something like that, they were carrying flags, they did peacefully protest. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't say anything racial. It's most likely, feds or something, because, I haven't heard anything about this organization from any of the patriots that I know, and I know patriots all over the freaking country. So whatever this is, it's not something. There's literally, whether it's feds or not, my point is they didn't do anything wrong at all. They didn't say anything or do anything racist. They walked around with American flags.
That's racist.
Covered. They were covered with masks and things of that nature, which patriots don't usually do.
The American flag is racist. You can't wave it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People are so triggered by the American flag that it's MAGA, and MAGA is racist. American flag
Play the
is
video.
racist now. It's just, they're so screwed up in the head, these people.
Okay, but I don't want to dismiss the point that Mark was just making, because it's important.
No, it is.
Because they see the American flag, they get triggered. But like Mark highlighted, I haven't met patriots that mask. They don't wear masks.
Me neither.
right?
They don't.
Now I'm not talking about the COVID era because everybody chose to do things in different ways. And I will say, when it was the COVID era, and everyone was trying to psy up us that the Proud Boys were this scary organization to be afraid of. When they were around us in the streets at one of the protests, I felt much safer with them in our presence than I did any other protest that I was in attendance of. You know why? Because New Yorkers and lefty liberals were losing themselves watching us march with flags or signs that were for our rights and our constitution and against the mandates. And people were getting violent or trying to get violent with folks like us. So, yeah. What's my point here? You can't believe everything the mainstream media throws at you, which is why it's valuable to connect with folks who have consistency, a track record, because I'm also suspicious of people who pop out of nowhere and they're these very polished content creators online and they have these big followings, or all of a sudden they've been boots on the ground and I'm like, I've never seen you. You just sort of just popped up. And maybe it doesn't mean we know everybody, but there's just little footprints of tells that certain things leave. It was like some of it doesn't feel organic. So trust your instincts and trust longevity and consistency, because I rather argue with someone I know than someone that you don't know and you think they're your best friend and all of a sudden they're trying to come in and hijack whatever you're creating. So be careful, because we're living in very weird, strange times, and all eyes are on New York and people like us, and absolutely the sabotage is in play.
Yep. With that being said, we're moving on to another topic. You got anything else for us, or?
We've got the video that Kozi,
Oh yeah, the view.
the
with
view,
them,
and then the Mamdani's 250.
the TDS on steroids.
Uh-oh, that's not playing any sound.
You say
Best nation for who?
Sorry.
Years for a bit.
And with an American flag on that cap. You might as well have a hood on. You might as well have a hood on, because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like.
But you say this is the best nation. The best nation for who?
Yeah, when you say it's the best nation,
when you
the
say
best
it's the best
nation
nation,
for
the best nation for who? Because if we are celebrating 250 years, what are we exactly celebrating is what I want to know. And so I'm really glad that picture was taken, because that picture is how we feel walking into many rooms down the street. That picture is how we feel, and nobody will believe us. So look at that picture and understand how it feels.
Yes.
You never should be made to feel like that.
There are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
So disgusting. Listen,
Look, I'm giving them PTSD. Oh, it's
Yeah.
bad. It's upside down. Oh my God. I
if
mean,
the American flag makes you feel that way, get the fuck out of the country. Just get the fuck out, okay? This is just straight mind control, unless they're really this low IQ. And anybody listening to, watching the view must have a low IQ, like below the ground level IQ. I mean, look what they're saying. It's so much hatred and to trigger people and to pretty much equate an American flag to hatred. What are they talking about?
An American flag to the KKK. That's the one that you might as well be wearing a hood, because you have the American flag literally like this with this teddy bear here holding the USA flag. I should have a freaking KKK hood on.
Could you imagine?
Delusional morons. But that's what they repeat, the same BS over and over. Racism and Trump, and it's like a broken record with them. They're saying it in all different ways, and that's what this was for. That's why I think it's fed, so that they could get this racism outrage topic out there. The black girl outnumbered by all these people that did literally nothing to her because they're not what you're saying they are. And that's just the reality of the situation. Like, even when it was the Proud Boys, the leader of the Proud Boys was Hispanic, and they had black members. I interviewed a black member of the Proud Boys in D.C. Like, it's not, you know, there's nothing racist about it. It was just, you know, it was, you know, when you talk about the Second Amendment, you talk about a well-regulated militia and, like, kind of, you know, having that there in case the government is corrupt. That's the closest thing we had to a militia. It's not, you know, efficient or anything like that, and it was pretty much lost its strength because nobody wanted to be associated with that, because the media, if you do anything like the Proud Boys, the media will immediately start labeling you racist so that the general public doesn't want to associate themselves with that. And what Cafecito said before, she felt safer with the Proud Boys there because Antifa is the one that's violent and will hurt people.
And they, yeah, exactly, and they never mention them. Why don't they ever condone them?
Yeah, and Proud Boys was the ones taking on Antifa and protecting people, and there was a lot of Proud Boys in Antifa wars, including one where somebody got stabbed not too far away from me, a Proud Boy that got stabbed by an Antifa member in D.C. And, you know, Dion was saying, why are you, you know, I was running for office at the time, and he's like, why are you here associating with people like this? And I'm ready to fight and stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, that's it. Like, there's no reason for me not to be here because these people are not bad people. Like, the ones that I was with, and that's the way I saw it. So I was just hanging out and whatever.
Well, I wanted to, before we went on to the next little video clip that I wanted to share, Puerto Ricans are Americans. Just so you know. And here's a little caveat. I love the United States. But the United States doesn't have a great relationship with Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico's still a territory, colony. We're colonized. We're not exactly free. We have benefits, but there's like, we're like the stepchildren to United States. So no, we don't have the most perfect relationship. And with that, I am grateful that I live in the United States, that I live in New York City, because this land has opened doors and granted me opportunities that I recognize when I visited other places I may not have gotten. Doesn't mean that's impossible, but there's got to be a reason why millions of people have made their way over to United States. My point is that part of the anger that many New Yorkers are experiencing right now is that we have realized that the enemy is here, that we've allowed them in. New Yorkers have realized that voting for Democrats hasn't done anything for the working class. They have been solely focused on the newcomers, and they're engaging college students who come from middle class families. I know a lot of us are angry at the transplants and the newcomers. Here's one thing that I want to just keep reminding you. In order for us to be able to compete, there has to be multitudes of us. Like Kozi said, multitudes of Rauls out there, right? Multitudes of content creators, multitudes of people who get involved in the processes, because there are many vacant seats out there in schools. Like, there's different things that people can do. And if you're listening and you're like, I don't got time for that, but if you got money, you know what you can do? You can donate to any of these people, including even our podcast, because we will continue to use that to share more news and stories. All of these things take time and many hours in our day, but we do it because we love New York City, and we are not happy with the level of reporting that the mainstream media does. I am in some of those conferences sometimes with Zoran Mamdani. I twist inside when I hear some of the mainstream media reporters asking him stupid freaking questions, softball questions, like when it was the snow coming up. There were 3 questions about the snow. Do you know how many questions we have about the bullshit that's happening in New York City that we want to know about? And 3 questions get wasted when maybe 10 people might get called out of the press if you're lucky? It's the mainstream, the press has been hijacked. Now, here's the thing that's great is that people are onto Mamdani. A lot of people have Mamdani regret. Even I think some of the journalists, because when I hear them, they're not happy. A lot of them are not at all happy with how lefty and radical he's become. And he has demonstrated, especially to the Puerto Ricans and Dominicans who have gotten their latest wake-up call, that just because he's a brown face doesn't mean that he's their brown face, because he just effed them. He did this to us in New York City. So what are we going to do with that? We're going to keep voting in the lefties and the radicals and people who don't love New York, that keep saying they hate America, but they just keep making money. And you know, a lot of these socialists have money. A lot of these socialists become millionaires so quick. How is it that these people who talk more about, you know, taxing the rich, how come they get rich? Should we be turning this around and looking at their wealth? That's not really, you know, I don't really care about that. My thing is, if I make billions of dollars, I want to be able to keep whatever I got.
Well, no, I want to know exactly how they got that money if they're public servants. I want to know, how did you get wealthy? How did you get wealthy if you believe in communism? You piece of shit. You piece of shit. Get out of our country. Get out. We don't want people like this. We don't want people who disrespect the Constitution. I don't care what country you came from, what religion you are. The minute you disrespect the Constitution, you don't care about it, get the fuck out. You don't belong here.
Try living someplace else with no money and see if you'll make it.
And they hate America.
It's one thing if you go and you visit Cuba and you go to the beaches and stuff like that, and you try to tell me that it's not as bad as people say it is. Try actually living there. Try actually speaking to the people who are starving and eating out of the garbage. Go. You know, they talk about the Nordic countries like Norway and stuff, and how happy the people are, and how this system is this way and that way. They also tax the crap out of their citizens, and you know, go over there and try actually being a citizen, and go and see if you're accepted. Go and see if they'll even take you in when you talk about immigration. But that's a whole nother topic. Yeah. Like, if you think the grass is greener on the other side, go over there, and then you'll find out that it isn't. America is still, you know, if it's not the greatest country, it's sure as hell one of the better ones. So you've got it pretty damn good over here. And the people who are coming to America are realizing that the propaganda around the world making Americans seem like bad people and stuff, they realized that that's all bullshit too when they came and visited, because they all had a great time. They experienced the kindness of the American people, because most of us are good people. I mean, if you try to mess with us, then that's a different story, especially if you're from Brooklyn like us, then you'll see the other side of us. But yeah, for the most part, we're good people, and America's a great country, and if you hate it, then, you know, you go get help. And
it's the absolute best country, because there's no other country that I know of where people are willing to risk their lives to get here. Okay, have you seen anybody risking their lives to get to these Norwegian countries and to go anywhere in Europe? They're not dying to get there. You don't see people swimming, willing to risk their families in the hands of the coyotes to get here. You don't see that. Okay, there's a reason why, because this is the best country in the world. It's the country with the most opportunities. Okay, so these people need to shut their mouth.
Well, you do have the mass immigration into England and stuff from the Middle Eastern countries, so.
But this is the best. England wants to control everything. We're the best. We are the best. F England.
Yep. I concur.
He gets
Ay, Dios
upset.
mío. Well, you know what? No, I mean,
I'm
this
speaking
got
for
me
myself.
upset. This got me
As we
upset.
mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry, while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans. We see a nation whose immense wealth has been built by those with calloused, dirt-streaked hands, those who toil on factory floors and chisel into stone. And we see a nation that has allowed so much of that wealth to be held instead in the soft hands of a precious few.
What a piece of
It's annoying to see, like, it's once again, it's communist propaganda. You want to take away from people, like, yeah, there are people who work hard and stuff like that. And you know what? There's somebody's grandfather did the same thing when they came here with nothing, and they built something, and they passed on the family business to the next generation, and they grew it, and they grew it, and they grew it, and now they're billionaires. Or you have people who are really smart, like Elon Musk, and you know, he goes and makes his ridiculous amount of money that it's his money. Like, I'm not spending other people's money for them. I would like to, if they like, you know, like.
Yeah,
but
listen,
I mean,
he chose to focus on that, right? He's focused on the worst parts. Like, yes, these stories happen, yes, but why are you focusing on that? The majority of people have success stories, okay? I have immigrant parents who came here with nothing. My dad came here 13 years old with nothing, you know, barely a pair of shoes. He came here, and he's not wealthy, but he made it. He made the American dream. He was able to buy a home. He was able to buy a car, and that's success. That's the American dream right there, okay? He was able to do that, okay? So he doesn't focus on these stories, and there's millions of stories like that. And they don't focus on that. What about the person who came here from Mexico, worked his ass off, and I know people who are Mexican, work their butts off, okay, and send money back to their country and then start building homes, okay? Those are success stories, okay? Why doesn't Mamdani focus on those? Can you do that in his freaking country? In Uganda, can you do that? You can't do that.
his communist propaganda is the same reason why the American dream is dying, because it's things like the $15 minimum wage and the rent freezes and all this other stuff that makes housing less affordable for people, and it's people that think that they're smart solutions when meanwhile they're just being useful idiots to a communist agenda, where those few people in communism, the irony of it all is the few people in control in communism are the ones who live in wealth while everyone else suffers. And that's the reality of the situation. It's they think that they're taking on the capitalist greedy people, but in reality the people like, you know, Kim Jong-un or you name it, they're the ones who are living comfortably, and the people are the ones who suffer. It's still the few. It's even fewer people that are living in luxury and more people suffering. So that's the goal of communism, and they don't even realize it.
Since you've mentioned rent freeze, I want to talk about that. I mean, listen, rent freeze, it's great for the people who are subsidized, right? Like people who have rent controlled stuff, right? It's great for them. But what's happening is, in the long term, it's going to be terrible for everybody, okay? It's going to raise all the freaking rents of the ones that are not rent stabilized, right? The rents are going to skyrocket right now, okay? They're going to absolutely skyrocket, and it's because the homeowners, the landlords, are going to need to pay for the updates and all the maintenance and all the stuff. I mean, inflation is hitting them, okay? I don't think it was right what happened. They should have met in between, right? Like if he wants a rent freeze, and the landlords were literally telling them, listen, inflation is this high, this is my expense just to operate, right? They should have met them halfway somewhere. They should have given them 3%, because what's going to happen is developers are not going to want to come here anymore. They're not going to want to build, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And now we just got another report from HUD, from the government, saying that illegal immigration brought in about 6 million people during the Biden administration, and now this has caused housing to skyrocket. Okay, housing to skyrocket because there's so many illegals, 6 million that are taking up the space, and now this is why the housing market is through the freaking roof. That's rent, that's buying. There's not enough. Okay, 6 million people who shouldn't be in this country. Thanks to Joe Biden.
Yeah, because he's like, they can all come. I know that Kamala, who was largely MIA, was like, don't come, don't.
And what Trump said, that was the best. All I could think of is that freaking skit.
We gotta find it.
Don't.
But, you know,
Kozi's talking about the meme with Trump saying, "Oh, I'm gonna come."
I'm gonna come. Yeah, I know. I need to find that so we could play because we definitely need humor. It's not gonna happen in this show because we're gonna start winding down, folks. But what I would like to say is that, you know, we've had Oscar El Blue, who, by the way, wanted to send a shout out to him. He's been doing great work. Went to Venezuela. There was a 5.1 earthquake that happened. He was in the middle of it, running out where he was and reporting from over there, helping people through however he can. And I also just want to send a prayer to the people of Venezuela who are still obviously in their grief and in their uncovering of this toll that just keeps rising. It's been beautiful to witness how people around the world just move mountains to support your fellow human being. And I just hope and pray that resources and money and donations are going to where they need to go and that they don't end up at a supermarket being sold, as some donations have happened when we sent stuff to Puerto Rico. So that's kind of what I wanted to add. And I just downloaded a new app that I intend to use, and if folks want to connect with me there, you can chat. I'm gonna be offering like 5-minute check-in chats. So the app is called MOTI app, or might be Moti Chat, and it's kind of cool because if you think about what Zoom does, or like these apps where you can have like a almost like a FaceTime, but so imagine FaceTime and Zoom, but you're also able to charge clients and also record your phone calls and get paid within the app. Everything is there. One of my favorite things is that it's encrypted and it's not collecting your personal data or from what you're using. And you know, we really love privacy and stuff. We value that. So I am starting to use the app, and if you guys want to learn more about it, download it and let me know how you like the experience. Is very sleek and sharp and beautiful, and I also love the fact that it's the brainchild of a fellow Puerto Rican from, I know, New York, but maybe also from Brooklyn. So shout out to Hugo Moti.
Nice. And tell them where they can download it.
Yeah, you could go onto your app wherever, you know, whether iTunes store, or is it the Google store for Android? I don't know how that works.
And what is the app called?
Moti, MOTI. The Moti, it might be Moti Chat or Moti app. I don't remember. I'll have more details next week.
Sounds good.
Any wrap out comments or anything else you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, just I guess my final thought, and Frank was talking about how de Blasio put a rent freeze and the landlords responded by cutting services. It's really de Blasio's like approval rating plummeted. Then Eric Adams was the next Democrat savior in their mind, and his approval rating plummeted. Mamdani comes into town, they realize he's full of shit, and his approval rating is plummeting. When are they going to realize that the Democrats are the ones causing the problem, and they're not
They
going
never
to
will.
they're not. You're not going to solve the problem with another idiot that does the same exact freaking thing. Every major city in the country increases in crime and homelessness, and it keeps getting worse. When is enough enough? When are people going to start realizing to vote red? Now, I realize there's a lot of corrupt Republicans out there. There's some of them that are probably went to Epstein Island and they're pieces of shit. But when it comes down to ideology, not people, Republican ideology makes more sense than Democrat ideology. Forget about the party itself and the people controlling it. The ideology is what I vote for. So if somebody's a Republican, I'm more likely to vote for them because the Republican ideology makes a lot more sense than the Democrat ideology. Unfortunately, the corruption is on both sides. Yes, I know two wings of the same bird and all that other nonsense, but we're not going to solve anything by assuming that every single person is going to do, is going to be corrupt, because, there are good people in there. They just usually don't win. And it's when are they going to realize that the person who's endorsed by the party probably might not be the right candidate? Like you saw with John Matlin when he ran for office. He's not the endorsed candidate. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote for him. Like when I first started getting into politics, I was like, why are people running against the party? And then it's like, okay, this is why. You run a primary and you take out, if you want to beat the establishment, you go and beat the establishment. The way you do that is not by running as an independent, because you don't have a chance in hell as an independent. So you run for the party that, you have a chance to win with, and the ideology that you actually stand behind. I don't think that people said to me, why didn't you run as a Democrat? New York is Democrats. It's like, it's not about winning. I'm not going to lie to people and say that I'm a Democrat and I believe in this and I believe in that when I don't. So it's you could convince people that you're right without having to just lie to them that, to make them agree with you. That's not you're not doing anybody any favors. You're just being selfish because you want to be in office and you want to accomplish absolutely nothing, which is the unfortunate reality. People crave that power. They crave that title. They have absolutely no interest in actually making a difference. And Mamdani is one of them, because he did absolutely nothing in the assembly, and they voted for him in mayor. Like the lowest attendance record in the assembly, and then you vote for him for mayor. It's absolutely because he could smile on a freaking TikTok. That's the people that we're dealing with, unfortunately, with the mass voters. But that's my final thought. Stop being stupid. Stop voting Democrat. And let's make America great again. Just to trigger the liberals that might be watching. MAGA, Trump, TDS.
The reason why Zoran won was Gaza. Even though it has nothing to do with New York, people are ignorant, people are dumb, and they were asking, what's your view on Gaza? Who gives a fuck? Okay, this is New York City. Okay, if it's the president, ask him that question, right? He's not the president. This mayoral race, I don't know how many people were asking. I was collecting signatures for some candidates, and this is the question. What's his take on Gaza? What's his take on Gaza? Shut the fuck up. Do you know where you are? You know who you're trying to vote for? It's the mayor. He has no control over that. That's the ignorance is what got us burned here. Ignorance. And this is why we have a mayor like this, because New Yorkers, the ones who voted for him, are completely ignorant. Dumb.
Most people don't know the difference, the power that each politician has. Unfortunately, the local state assembly, state senate, city council, you name it, they'll go and make promises that they're going to fix this when they're in office. They have absolutely no power to go and fix that, but the people will believe them and they'll vote for them for
Just like the
win for
bus.
office.
He has no control over that. He had no control over the bus. Free buses. He's just making up shit. Anyway, my closing comment is F you all.
Go USA. We need this comeback down 2-1. Let's go.
I'm going to close with this little statement. Ask yourself if you have been distracted to hate Trump so that you don't learn about the major issues affecting Americans right now. Your TDS has blinded you. A lot of people have allowed their TDS to get in the way of relationships. I've lost colleagues over that. And yeah, a lot of assumptions. Meanwhile, the enemy's right here.
The enemy is right here.
Right here, smiling in our faces, offering us the world and the moon and free buses. Meanwhile, everything is just more expensive in New York. So thank you. We can have outrage. We can have our underwears bunched up. It's not going to change the fact that the DSA and these people, they have a huge group. They might be, I think, 100,000 strong, if I'm not mistaken.
We gotta stop them. They gotta be stopped.
They are well funded, and they also know how to create community, which is, guess what? Something the Republicans don't do very well, especially not here in New York City, because we don't really see you. We know there's Republicans. We know who the Republicans are because, we interact with them. But I'm talking about the ones that could have flex money, invisible. Where are you? We don't see you. We don't see you.
Yeah, the thing, I want my final actual words here. I want to actually read a tweet that I put out about democratic socialism. The Democratic Socialists of America advocate government or social ownership of major industries, centralized economic planning, massive wealth redistribution, rent control, socialized healthcare, and policies that diminish private property rights. The founders understood that concentrated power, whether in a king, in a government bureaucracy, is a threat to liberty. The solution isn't more government. It's less corruption, sound money, free markets, real competition, and a government that stays within its constitutional limits. That's my beef with the DSA, because I had somebody arguing with me in my comment section the other day. Why do you guys hate communism so much? Give it a try. Or democratic socialists, they're trying to improve life. And no, the problem is, right? We don't want to put more power in government. We want to put less power in government. Government is the problem. Government is a leech. Government is a parasite. They can only create wealth for themselves, and they can only generate money for themselves by leeching off the people. Okay, we want less power for them and more power for us. And the power I'm talking about is the rights that we have. That has been given to us by the founders of this country when they told England to go F themselves. Okay? We went from not paying taxes, throwing tea in the water. Literally, they were trying to tax our tea to death. We threw it in the water. And now we're getting robbed left and right. Now we're told what freaking setting to put our ACs on. Now we're told to take vaccines, mandatory ones. We're told to mask up. We're told to lock down. We're told to do things that are, if George Washington was alive, he would lose his mind. Okay? If you told my grandfather any of these things, if you told him to put a mask on, he'd knock you out. He'd break your nose. That's what he would do. Okay? That's what he would do. Because those were men. You don't tell men to put a mask on. You don't tell men to lock down. You don't tell men what temperature to put their AC on. Bring men back.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Yeah, Mark?
That tax on tea was about 6% back then, and now we're losing half our paycheck to the government.
And they're giving you property taxes and income taxes.
And we slaves.
Bring back Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson.
Bring back tar and feathering. Bring back
Bring
a
back
lot of
tar and
public
feathering.
executions.
Bring back the monies.
Bring back real men.
Bring back the greens. Bring back real women and
Real women, real men.
too, because there's a lot of toxicity in both genders and in other places. But I don't want to get in trouble with opening more doors. I just
Okay, yes, let's say goodbye.
just gotta say goodbye.
Thank you all for joining, Frank.
Go
Thank you for
USA.
your amazing comments.
Thank you for everyone tuning in. And join us
See you
next
next week.
Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we're gonna leave you with this little recipe by Kozi.
Today's recipe is called off pie. We're gonna start by putting 1 cup of, I'll post whatever the I want, a dash of kiss my ass, a pinch of go yourself, add some little yous to it. You're gonna mix it and stir it all together, and you're gonna shove it up your ass.